Alright everyone, so the new set coming out in April is Strixhaven. We've already seen some of these cards here. We have the different command cards with Quandrix Command, Lorehold Command, Witherbloom Command, Prismari Command, and Silverquill Command. If you're not familiar with Harry Potter, the whole concept is that you go to this magic school where you can hone in on your skills of being a wizard or witch, and there were different houses, so you had Slytherin, you had Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw. This is kind of the same idea. But we have received 2 newer cards, so let's go over those. Kasmina Enigma Sage. So 3 mana, green and blue colors. Each other planeswalker you control has the loyalty abilities of Kasmina Enigma Sage. So we got her back in War of the Spark. She was one of those uncommon planeswalkers. Her +2 is Scry 1, so each other planeswalker you control can also Scry 1 for a +2. Her -X says, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, put X +1/+1 counters on it. And then her -8, her alt is, search your library for an instant or sorcery card that shares a color with this planeswalker. Exile that card, then shuffle. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Now that's pretty cool. If any of your planeswalkers can also use that ability, you can tutor up just about any instant or sorcery and then cast it for free. Not really much else to say about this planeswalker. I mean, we get a ton of them, so the luster is kind of faded for me. The other card that we got here on March 22nd is Professor Onyx. So she's obviously going to have a lot more to do with the Harry Potter inspiration. You have different professors, and this whole set is being described as the magic school subgenre of fantasy, which I think that's kind of silly. It doesn't need to be a subgenre. It's pretty much just Harry Potter. But Professor Onyx here is 6 mana in black for 5 loyalty, a legendary planeswalker, a Liliana legendary planeswalker. So this is in fact Liliana, just I guess she's pretending, she's role-playing as a professor. Is that what we're doing now with planeswalkers? They just go to different planes and they decide, you know what, I'll be a professor here. Yeah, sure, fine. She also has a static ability of Magic Craft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. That's actually really sweet. I mean, that could be really powerful. Black has some instant and sorcery support. I mean, obviously it has a ton of instants and sorceries, but it has some Spellslinger support. This just adds to that, so if you want to play Black and Spellslinger, I think Professor Onyx is already a pretty good planeswalker. Her +1 is you lose 1 life. You look at the top 3 cards of your library, you put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. That's pretty good. I mean, that's better than a plus for a draw. You get to go 3 deep, and then you also get to fill your graveyard too. Her -3 is each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. That's also a very good minus. Her -8 is each opponent may discard a card. If they don't, they lose 3 life, and you repeat this process 6 more times. So if an opponent doesn't have any cards in their hand, that's 21 life. So that's a big chunk of life. It's not the most powerful alt, it's not overpowering, but it's kind of like a Torment of Hailfire, where if they run out of cards to discard, and they don't have any non-land permanents, they just lose 3 life each time. So overall, I think this is definitely preferable to doing any kind of crossover with Lord of the Rings, where you're just literally having Lord of the Rings characters, or Warhammer 40k. I think that's silly. What you can do is you can have inspiration clearly from Harry Potter, but you don't call it Harry Potter, you don't call the characters actual characters from Harry Potter, unless Professor Onyx is a character I'm not aware of. You just do it like this. Okay, so this is Liliana essentially, but with a different name. It's not like we're going to Middle Earth and you're going to have essentially this Nicol Bolas character, but instead of Nicol Bolas, it's going to be Sauron, Lieutenant of Morgoth, or Frodo of the Shire will be the hero of the set. You know, that would be very disappointing to me. I think Magic the Gathering has its own lore, it has its own unique concept, where you're traveling from different planes, different worlds, and you have different characters that can do that because they're planeswalkers, they're really powerful. And a consequence of having just nothing but planeswalkers now kind of cheapened that. But anyway, let me know what you think about these spoilers. I will probably be looking into this set. I will continue with spoiler season probably throughout this week or next week. I'll find out, but you all have a wonderful day. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, share, hit the notification bell. Void here signing off. See you all next time.